Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. Good to see you all back for another evening show where I go through all of the latest Chelsea news. We started on time. Nobody can say I was late. Thank you, everyone that was waiting as well. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel as well. And if you want to help in any other way, you can always become a member of Chelsea Fan TV. There are a number of ways that you can do so via YouTube. So that's another way you can support the channel. Big up to Amir. Big up to Rain. Good to see you on here. Rubik's, always a pleasure, mate. Horizon says these are B-Tech targets. What's our goal next season? Top 10. Daniel, good to see you, mate. Good to see you on the stream. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Robert Sanchez, he's got to go. And we've got to get Petrovic in goal. Absolutely. Big up to Jetmir as well, up the Chelsea. And today in this show, we're going to be going through all of the latest news. Look, I want to say this very carefully. Like, I want to be when I say news, you can judge the source for whatever you want to judge it. Some sources are good, some sources are not good, and you can make your own mind up on these things. I am obviously not the source when I talk about Lookman. And, when we speak about Osimhen, all these guys, these are things that are being put out there. And I'm only in control of what I can see, just like you. So we're going to go through it all together and get a little bit of info with regards to those potential incomings and hopefully not as many outgoings in terms of key players. Andrei Santos being one of them. Another player being Jordi Petrovic, who has undoubtedly been one of the best goalkeepers in Europe, if not in many regards, the best statistically, especially from a distribution standpoint. He's been right up there with the best. There's not many that can compete with him statistically. That being said, stats isn't everything. Sometimes you have to just watch it with your eyes, don't you? But I think that we can all agree that we were happy with him last year, and I don't think he's downgraded. He's certainly got better. So that is always a positive. Obviously, we're being linked with a number of players as well. Jamie Gittens from Borussia Dortmund. He's been a name that's been chucked around since January. If you actually looked at his stats in January when we did, which is sort of mid to the end, he was on fire. He was playing really, really well at the time. And fast forward, we're almost into the summer window. And now we're looking at a player that, to be quite frank, has just had a massive drop-off in form and is not being prioritized by this new manager, Niko Kovac, as much as he was previously. And I don't know the reasons for that. I don't know the politics of Dortmund, but there has to be some sort of reason. It's not like Kovac isn't giving young players a chance. He's a big fan of Chukwuemeka. Why is he not as big a fan of a player like Jamie Gittens? Why is Jamie Gittens not performing under this manager? Is it just a managerial issue or is it a player problem? So these are all things that we can look into and discuss as well. Annabelle Lookman as well, one player that I spoke with Lewis about, and Lewis seems to think that he would be a needle mover. My opinion on Lookman is that he's a good player. Performing in Serie A, it's like any league, though, isn't it? You perform in another league and you go to the Premier League. It's just different. So very, very hard to judge a player based on their form abroad when they haven't actually performed when they were given the opportunity in the Premier League as well. So that's why I'm a little bit sort of I'm not pessimistic about the signing of Lookman, but I can't sit here and be like, oh, he's the priority. A winger shouldn't even be our priority anyway. For me, the winger should be the last position that we sign. The goalkeeper is a huge priority, but we already have the goalkeeper. In terms of the midfield, we're strengthening massively with Isugu and Andrei Santos. Isugu coming from Sporting and Santos coming from Strasbourg on loan. So you've got three immediate upgrades in this team, three players that are going to help significantly. Your goalkeeper, obviously an upgrade on Sanchez. You've got extra depth in the midfield with Santos. That will provide some real competition for Enzo Fernandez. And then you've got cover for Caicedo with Isugu, who, based on what I've seen, I'm really happy with that signing. He seems like a really good player. In terms of the number 10 position, my opinion is that we should just be keeping Chukwuemeka, and then we have rotation for Palmer in that position. And then on your wings, you've got Sancho, you've got Madueke, you've got Neto, you've got Tyreek George. I think that you'll be okay. Worst case, if you run out of wingers, you play Palmer on the right, which is what I've been calling for anyway. What you need to do is prioritize your centre backs and your strikers. And I am absolutely more than happy if we just sign 3 players: Mark Gurhey, Dean Huijsen, and let's just say Osimhen. Those 3 players would be a sensational window for us. It would be a great window. On top of the business that we've already done, your Santos's, your Petrovic, sending them out on loan and them coming back in red-hot form. I cannot sit here and say that that's a downgrade, because it's not. It's an upgrade, isn't it, based on what we've had this season? Obviously, it depends how we sell as well, what money we can bring in. I've forgotten as well about Esteval Willian. You're absolutely right. So, yeah, it's true. And big up to Tom as well. Have I seen the video of Mikel talking about Osimhen? No, but we can absolutely watch that together. Neil says Eunice has reported that a source says Wes is going to be sold. Does anyone know what source that is? Again, we will go through. I've been flicking through all these different things just to see what's what's happening. There is an update with regards to the goalkeeper, and again, this is one of the reasons I highlight that Petrovic will be Chelsea's number 1 next season. This is according to Ben Jacobs. Obviously, we were heavily linked with Dortmund's Gregor Kobel, and there was numbers of around 50 million euros. I even 60 million number being chucked around. I thought, fucking hell, that's a lot of money. It doesn't really seem like a signing that needs to happen. I don't understand why we're doing it, but yeah, I mean, from the perspective of Robert Sanchez, Jorgensen, Petrovic, and Penders, I think that even if you weren't to pick Petrovic as a goalkeeper, which would be very stupid, you'd still have options with Penders and maybe not Jorgensen. I guess Penders is the next best thing. Or if you're desperate, you could bring back Kepa. Like, we have such an abundance of goalkeepers, we really don't need to be looking at this. So it's good to see that, according to Ben Jacobs, links with Dortmund's Gregor Kobel are wide of the mark. Basically, for those of you who don't know what that means, they're bullshit. That's what he's saying. It's a load of waffle. Now, we've gone through a number of sources. And again, you have to take each source with a pinch of salt, and you have to just try and think to yourself, realistically, is this actually a deal that Chelsea want to make? And I guess the more major the journalist, the more serious you can take it, whether you're Fabrizio's or you David Ornstein's, even Ben Jacobs, to be fair, if they're reporting on those things as well. So these are things that you obviously have to take into consideration. But I'm very glad that this is the case, and ultimately we shouldn't even be talking about goalkeepers, because we already have a goalkeeper within our Blue Co structure that we have signed, developed, and is now ready made. Like, you can sit here and complain all you want about a number of players. I will certainly not pretend that I'm happy with everything we've done. We certainly, we've done some strange, crazy things, and all this ownership cares about is money. It doesn't really change my opinion on that. But ultimately, I would like to still try and talk about football. We know there's plenty of politics going on, but when we're talking about transfers, that is football. Those transfers may be with the eventual view that they may try and sell these players on for a profit, but you would hope that these players could have a future at Chelsea. That's when we're looking at them. They can perform and hopefully achieve great things. But this particular goalkeeper from Dortmund certainly won't be one of those players. So very, very glad to see that those rumors are untrue, at least according to Ben Jacobs. Now, again, I just saw as well in the comments about Wesley Fofana. I am quite surprised, to be honest with you. I didn't expect this news. I don't know the source. Who is the source? Seb Nonda, French journalist. Translate post. Chelsea is considering letting Wesley Fofana leave at the end of the season on a loan or a permanent transfer. Olympique Marseille is still on the lookout this summer. He is more than open to the idea of joining Marseille. Can I just say that, honestly, good riddance. Good fucking riddance. You know, this is a player with no loyalty to this club. Can't stay fit. He was considering a move to Marseille this summer we just had. That is not a character I want at Chelsea. I don't care about your quality. If we sell Fofana on a permanent, we're going to get 50 million. I mean, I don't think Marseille are splashing 50 million. And again, when we talk about, well, Matt Law, I didn't say Matt Law, but Ben Jacobs, all these guys, again, I don't know who to believe. I don't pretend to believe everyone, but all you can look at, ultimately, I'm just reporting the news that's been put out there. And, you know, these are the guys that put out the most quote unquote credible information. Whether you believe everything they say or not is true. And, you know, I'm sure that, well, of course, they've spoken absolute nonsense at times, no doubt. But, you know, again, this is all just me saying what's already been put out there. And then you can think whatever you want. I personally think, just going back to Wesley Fofana, he is really, really, I think he's been a massive flop. A massive flop. There's no doubt in my mind. You are not available. Ever. You're never available. Now, at least Lavia, I don't hear these rumors about him wanting to go to a club after a season. I don't hear it. The guy gets injured. Basically, he's out for the whole season. And he wants to leave. Or he's considering leave. Like, are you kidding me? Talk about mentality. Rubbish mentality. And for that reason, and on top of the fact that, you know, he's not available anywhere, there's no doubt, let me just highlight that he is our best centre-back when he's fit. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Why the hell did we splash £80 million on an ACL broken bone injury player? Look, I'm not saying get out of the club. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying good riddance if you're off. Good riddance. I really don't care, to be honest with you. If we get Fofana and that's another reason to get better centre-backs, are you kidding me? Oh, my God. I could think of 3 centre-backs that we could get in this team that would improve us dramatically. And they're all realistic. And we can think about sales as well. Fofana's one of the options. This is the thing, isn't it? So you've got Fofana. I don't know what we get for him. If I'm honest, I'd be conservative. I'd say 30 to 40 million. And I would accept that, to be quite frank, because you've got to remember he's got a big wage as well. So they want to get him off the books for those reasons. Then you've got Disasi. That's another player. Then you got Tosin. Those are 3 sales that you can make. Realistic sales. Tosin, you can get 15 to 20 million. Fofana, you can get, let's just say 30. So that's about 50. Disasi, you want to break even. You spent about 40. And you got a £5 million loan fee. So you would accept a deal of around, let's just say 35 to 40 million. So that would recoup about 80 to 90 million pounds in fees. You replace Tosin with Jonathan Tah from Bayern Leverkusen. He's free. He's also a better player than Tosin. He's 29. He's experienced. He's won the Bundesliga. He's actually won trophies. And he's tall like Tosin, so you don't lose the height. You replace Fofana with Mark Guehi from Crystal Palace, who actually played for Chelsea and, you know, has experience in the Premier League and at the highest level representing England. and you replace a player like Disasi with Dean Huijsen, who, again, another potential player, but you've brought in enough quality with Jonathan Tah and Mark Gurhey that signing is absolutely justified, and it's still an upgrade on Disasi. So those are the players I would bring in. There's 3 players that you get rid of as well. Murillo, I don't see Forest selling, to be honest with you, even if they get Champions League football. I actually think that squad will potentially stay together if they get Champions League. I don't think that they'll sell. Why would they sell? They don't need to. That's my opinion on that. In terms of the strikers, obviously, that's a totally different kettle of fish. But yeah, Fofana, for me, like, just a player who's honestly, like, not worth sweating over. I'm not sweating over this guy. He's a good player. He's a great player when he's fit. But you know what? I don't fucking know. I'm a great drinker, but I don't go to the pub anymore. I'm a great weightlifter, but I don't have a gym membership. I'm a great fashion icon. I wear tracksuit every fucking day and Chelsea tops. Well, that's not Chelsea. Do you see what I'm saying? It doesn't matter how good you are if you're not available. You can't actually help the team. And then you're saying to me, okay, cool, the guy's injured. Maybe he's got other qualities he can help us with. Leadership? What? Really? Loyalty? Fuck that. So this guy doesn't embody any of the qualities that I want from a player in terms of his character. And that for me is a reason why I'm absolutely got no issue with him leaving. Literally no issue. So, you tell me what you want to think about that. It is what it is, isn't it? Another interview on another Blue Code player. Juventus are showing interest in Diego Moreira, but the winger intends to remain at Strasbourg. That's according to Morik. He is a Italian journalist. Again, no idea on credibility. That is what this particular journalist is saying. Again, take this stuff with a pinch of salt, but there's got to be a reason that conversations are happening. Like, I don't doubt that things are happening. I think they probably are. Moreira is developing well in France, so I don't see any reason to kill his development with another move to a big club. If I'm not wrong, the last time I saw Moreira play in a Chelsea shirt, well, in the flesh, was Wimbledon last season, and he couldn't even play against Wimbledon, who were like a League Two side. So that makes me a little bit pessimistic about whether he could perform at a club like Juventus. Also, Juventus recruitment has been poor, so I don't think they really know what they're doing either, but tell me if I'm wrong. Massive congratulations as well to Don Carlo Ancelotti. Obviously, we know that he used to manage Chelsea at one point in time. Ancelotti and Brazil have reached an agreement in principle for the Italian to become the head coach for the World Cup in 2026. I was almost about to say the Club World Cup. I'm so hyped up for it. The deal is valid from June, not after the Club World Cup. Real Madrid and Ancelotti would part ways nicely with formal steps needed next. I'm not surprised. Probably going to get sacked if we're being totally honest. That's what's doesn't surprise me whatsoever. I see a comment as well saying, "Where's Lewis?" Well, Lewis doesn't do all the streams, guys. He only does a number of them. Sorry to disappoint you. He was on the lunch show though. So if anyone was here at 1 o'clock, me and Lewis did a stream together going through some of the latest updates. Big up to Lewis as always. Real can have Maresca. There you go. I would happily have Lewis on, but he's not streaming tonight. The way that we work with the streams, guys, is I basically give people days, and they either do them or they don't. And you probably won't get much more than about 3 a week out of anyone else. I'll do them all because, well, I just will. But that's the reason we do it, guys, so it's sustainable. Because people say, oh, I'm going to stream every Monday, every Tuesday, and they never do it. Or they do it for a few weeks and then they stop doing it. So you got to keep things sustainable for people. Lewis was on form, Ali. You're absolutely right. And I'm glad you enjoyed the lunch show in Alex We Trust. Thanks, Tom. Do I work full-time on Chelsea Fan? No, I do not do this full-time, guys. That's why I'm wearing tennis kit. I'm a tennis coach. So I do my lunch stream at 1 o'clock. I go to work. I work in the afternoons and evenings as a tennis coach. And then I stream in the evening. And I fit my schedule around the channel and around Chelsea. So, no, I do not do this full time. I would love to do it full time. I do think that I'm probably, a year, maybe 2 years away from that. I just enjoy doing it, to be quite frank. I don't think you could run a fan channel if you're motivated by money. It's a very difficult thing to, very difficult. 1v1 Lewis tennis match before a Chelsea game. If I can get Lewis to do that, I would actually do that. But he wouldn't. I don't see what the fun is in that. When do I get? I'm too busy with Bonnie Blue, mate. So Lily Phillips isn't in the picture. Obviously, that's a joke. Okay. Let's get back to it. We went off track there, didn't we? We went a little bit off track. Okay, another update regarding Chelsea target ambitious £90 million double deal for 2 defenders. This is by Rudy Galletti. I have no idea who Rudy Galletti is. Is he a Sky Sports journalist? Not sure. This was published 4 hours ago. Chelsea are aiming to sign Dean Huijsen and Mark Guehi in the summer transfer window. Team Talk understands there is, but there is a big determining factor. Oh, I wonder what this is. Let me share my screen with you. This is the article if anyone wants to check it out. It has not been a particularly great season for Chelsea, with one of England's biggest clubs failing to challenge for the Premier League title. However, the Blues could end up in the top 5 and qualify for Champions League. Enzo Maresca's side have also progressed to the semi-finals of the UEFA Conference League. Chelsea are aiming to strengthen their squad in the summer transfer window and add players who they believe will help them compete with the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man City for the Premier League title next season. Team Talk understands that the London club are planning big moves this summer in defence and in other areas. Sources have told Team Talk that Chelsea plan to sign 2 new centre-backs ahead of next season. Among the most appreciated profiles, Dean Huijsen and Mark Guehi. Huijsen has been one of Bournemouth's best performers this season, as has become one of the most in-demand defenders in the world. Team Talk understands that Liverpool consider the 20-year-old Spain international centre-back as one of the priority targets. The newly crowned Premier League champions included the former Juventus prospect in their list of targets at the beginning of the year. Spanish giants Real Madrid and German powerhouse Bayern Munich have also shown interest in Huijsen, who have a release clause of £50 million in his contract at Bournemouth. Chelsea are aware that competition for Huijsen is fierce, but the Blues consider him a key target to strengthen the backline. Team Talk understands that Chelsea are also monitoring Crystal Palace centre-back Mark Guehi very carefully. The 24-year-old England international central defender came through the ranks at Chelsea. After struggling to establish himself in the first team, Guehi left Chelsea for good in 2021 and joined Crystal Palace. Guehi is out of contract at Crystal Palace in the summer of 2026. And because of this, the Eagles are open to selling him this summer to maximize their profit without losing him on a free transfer next summer. So, yeah, that is what I'm getting from this article at the moment. And honestly, it doesn't surprise me that we're interested in these players. I'm generally quite happy with that. These are two players that I think should be a priority. And the fact that, according to reports, they are a priority, I think that's a good thing. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But again, if you're just signing a Dean Huijsen and you're not signing a Mark Guehi or a Jonathan Tah, then you're not really seeing that experience to push for a league title. I mean, they're talking about a league title. I don't know if we'll be in a league title. I mean, I was having this conversation earlier, and I do think if we strengthen massively, we'd be right up there. That still doesn't mean I believe Maresca's a good manager. I think from what we've seen this season, I've got more to believe that he's done a poor job than a good job. But that's each to their own. That's opinion. And some of you agree, some of you disagree. I do think that with better players, though, managers will play better football. And even if Maresca is not necessarily the manager I would choose, if you give him Petrovic, if you give him Dean Huijsen and Mark Guehi, if you give him Osimhen and Andre Santos and Asuga, all of these players, I mean, if we didn't play good football, I'd be shocked. So, that is the spine that we're trying to build. And if we're going to trust Enzo Maresca, give him some better players. I appreciate that argument that people make from the standpoint of the directors and everything else like that. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. Huijsen is a serious baller, but we need experience. We can't keep wasting time. I agree with that. Would I sell Gusto? How much did we buy Gusto? What was Gusto's price? Gusto. £30 million we paid for Gusto. Do I think we'd get more than 30 million for him now? No. And for that reason, I think that he will stay. And I want him to stay, by the way. I like Gusto. Big fan of Gusto. One of our best players last season. Certainly not been that this season. But he's adapting to a new system. And, if you're going to keep the manager, then you got to get players to adapt. And as much as I'm not a fan of this inverting right back stuff with Reece James and Gusto, works really well with Caicedo. If that's what Maresca wants, then these players need to try and adapt to it, don't they? So we'll see. What happened to the Chelsea protest? Why did they just end? I have no idea. I haven't heard anything about the protest. I know that Neil as well. I see your comment. You've asked about the protest a couple of times. I haven't heard anything about it. There's been no talk about it. I didn't hear any talk around the bridge, to be honest with you, about it. Look, a protest only works if you do it multiple times. A protest only works if fans get together and show unity again and again and again. But it's very difficult to protest when you are on the cusp of potentially getting top 5. Me personally, I always said that we're not going to get top 5, especially from Brentford. And I still believe that. I still, I went to work today and one of my colleagues is an Arsenal fan. And I walked over, they were talking about the Champions League and what are we talking about here? And he went, "Oh, mate, this isn't a conversation for you. We're talking about the Champions League. That's above your pay grade." Oh, mate. I said to him, you know what? I hope you beat PSG. I hope you fucking beat them and then lose in the final. That would be brilliant. I would love nothing more than Arsenal to get to the final and lose. That's a beautiful thing. To get so close, but still not good enough. I'm waiting for it. I will be a very happy man if that happens. So even if Arsenal beat PSG, which, well, I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't complain if they beat PSG, if they lost to PSG. Of course I wouldn't. But yeah. Do I know what's happening to Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall? He apparently said goodbye to the fans, but he could be an okay bench player. He apparently said goodbye to the fans. What fans? Well, let's see. Are you telling me that he's posted something? Nah, fuck off. Seriously? Oh, you fucking bastard. That is the biggest load of... There's me actually thinking he said farewell. Look at this. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall pays tribute to Jamie Vardy after Leicester City exit confirmed, not Chelsea exit. So, no, he's not leaving. Well, maybe he's leaving. I don't know, but... Oh, goodness, man. He actually got me there. He actually got me. Oh, thank you very much, Neon Underdog. No reason for this. Just get a beer on me. Keep it real, fam. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate the super chat. It's very kind of you. I'll be honest with you. I haven't had a drink in like 2 weeks. The last time I had a drink was the Warsaw game when we lost 2-1. Understandably. So if anyone watched that game or got through the game, I wouldn't blame you if you stopped watching after 45 minutes. But I will be buying a beer before Liverpool. So, Neon, appreciate that, mate. Very kind of you. Very, very kind of you. Be honest, who is better, Jackson or Vardy? Well, if you're asking me right now, Jackson, but at his peak, Vardy was way better. Way better. So, no real debate there. Petrovic in goal and Osimhen up top would be enough for you. That's fair. Don't blame me there, mate. Don't blame you. I'd be happy with that as well. Now is the time. Now is not the time for protest, bro. Finish the last 4 games well and support the team. Think of the protest after. This is the thing. I kind of agree with JC on this. We're in a situation where we just need a bit of unity. And even me being someone who's quote unquote Maresca out, whatever you want to call it. I don't rate the manager. I'm not going out there after we beat Fulham and criticizing the manager. I'm not going out there after we beat Everton and shitting on Maresca. That is not the solution. By the way, can I not just enjoy the football? Why does everything have to be so agenda-driven? People always put in the comments, especially recently, when we win games, they're like, Alex is rattled because we won. What? Why can't I just enjoy my team winning? Just because I've made my opinion clear on the manager doesn't mean I want Chelsea to lose. According to some people, though, you would just rather him lose. And there was a point where I was like, fucking hell. If he just loses a couple more games, he might get sacked. Maybe that's the best thing. But we are close enough to be in a position where at least we have that hope that we could get Champions League football. And for that reason and that reason alone, I just want to enjoy potentially being able to do it. What other reason to support your team other than to be there for your team? And then we can talk about what's good and what's not after. I mean, that's how I felt about Pochettino in a lot of ways as well. If he hadn't got Conference League, I would have said sack him. I wouldn't have had a problem. But we did the bare minimum, which is get European football. We actually qualified for the Europa League. Then we got demoted because United won the FA Cup. I mean, if we don't progress under Maresca, good argument that he should be sacked. If we were to finish 6th or lower, that's a regression. That's a plateau. And, both domestic cups not doing as well as we did last season. And then you got the Conference League, which, to be honest with you, I mean, I can't really compare that from last season because we weren't even in that competition. Evening, Alex. You should have given the Arse fans some sticker reminding we've got 2 stars. First London club to win the Champions League. Up the Chelsea. Neil, don't you worry. I'm keeping it in the pipeline. That man is going to feel my wrath when they get knocked out. Because you know what? I may be going to Poland, but I'm going to Poland to watch Chelsea fucking win. Not just to talk about winning, how we should win, how we could win. We will win. Fingers crossed. Okay. What else have I got for you guys? This is an interesting piece of information as well. We do need to speak about Adam Lookman as well, don't we? And Jamie Gittens. England won't be leaving from Twickenham after all, as the RFU, which is the Rugby Federation Union, are optimistic about being allowed to host more non-rugby events. But any bid to use the stadium as a temporary home for Chelsea is likely to be vetoed, which means basically it wouldn't happen. Twickenham has a great capacity. It's about 60-odd thousand, maybe 70,000 seats. Significantly bigger than what we have at Stamford Bridge. So if we were to reconstruct the stadium or need a temporary home elsewhere for whatever reason, Twickenham is an option. We've also heard about Craven Cottage as well, which would be much less appealing because it's 50% of the capacity that we currently have. We obviously need to grow and ideally not go into a smaller stadium. So that's not great. Wembley is also on the cards as well if that was to happen. I do feel like that's a conversation for another day though, because we're not really having any of these conversations. I'm not hearing anything about progress on a stadium, anything like that as it stands. So I don't really see the point of speaking about it. But hey, let's see what happens. Team Talk. We just had an article from Team Talk as well earlier. We've got another one. This is all about Jamie Gittens. So again, take it with a pinch of salt if you want to. I don't know how. I presume they're probably not the greatest source, but anyway, this is what they're saying. Chelsea plot the early signing of a 17 GA winger as a stunning Gittens and Sancho swap deal floated. Chelsea are keen to get their transfer window done before the Club World Cup, and they are plotting a move for Borussia Dortmund winger Jamie Gittens, with a potential deal involving Gittens and Sancho possible per Team Talk sources. Clubs now have the opportunity to sign players earlier than previously, thanks to a new exceptional transfer window that runs from June 1st to June 10th, so teams can prepare for the Club World Cup. Enzo Maresca is keen to strengthen all over the pitch as he looks to build a squad capable of competing for trophies. The Blues are pushing for Champions League qualification and will need a stronger team if they want to win the elite competition. Team Talk understands that Chelsea are big admirers of Dortmund star Gittens and view the talented 20-year-old as a player with world-class potential who is ready to explode. I wonder how many times we've heard that. Sources state that the behind the scenes at Stamford Bridge view Gittens as an achievable signing, as reported. Dortmund value him at £35 million, which Chelsea view as fair. And I'll be honest with you, I honestly agree with that. I was hearing about £50 million the other day, and that was just crazy to me. 35 million is fair. But I don't see why this deal should be prioritized over centre-backs, over strikers. If we are still going to get those other deals over the line or, spend that money in those positions, I don't have a big issue with signing Jamie Gittens. Ultimately, it's another player. It's not a needle mover. That seems to be the word that's going around. Oh, he's not a needle mover. Well, if you get needle movers in defence and as a striker, I think that's probably enough, isn't it? And then you would presume that having a better striker and a more capable defence will take a little bit of pressure off the wingers. And you'll have a guy, hopefully, scoring lots of goals, making himself present in the box so that when crosses do come in, he's actually dangerous. and taking the pressure off of those players. Because you look at Neto, for example, not got much GA, but it's the highest season he's ever had in terms of GA. Would have been significantly higher again if he would have had a proper box presence in, as a striker throughout the season for him to whip those crosses into. Anyway, the winger who was born in London began his career at Reading. Fuck, no way. I live near Reading. And was taken by the Chelsea youth system as a youngster. He knows the club but did not stay long and ended up moving to Man City where he developed. Much like Liam Delap and Cole Palmer, he was viewed as a sellable asset by City, and Dortmund moved to sign him in the summer of 2022. Gittens has exploded onto the scene in Germany, has notched an impressive 12 goals and 5 assists across all competitions this season, so it's no shock to see Chelsea are keen on re-signing the youngster. Again, like 17J in all competitions. I don't know how many games he's played. If you look at, we can look briefly at his stats. But it's not a priority for me. Chelsea floats Sancho, Gittens swapped to Dortmund. Dortmund are open to having a conversation about Gittens with Chelsea, although other top sides are also watching his situation with interest. Team Talk understands that Chelsea, among other teams, have been watching Gittens' performances for the past year, and everything points towards him leaving Dortmund this summer. Gittens is represented by the Elite Project Group, who have their Chelsea stars Romeo Lavia, Tyreek Jordan, Gittens and Sancho on their roster. The latter poses an interesting question too, in whether Sancho could be used by Chelsea to help them seal the deal for Gittens. Chelsea are obligated to sign the Manchester United loanee permanently for 25 million unless they pay a 5 million fee to back out of the agreement. Sources have confirmed that a return to Dortmund would interest Sancho, and Chelsea have floated the idea of signing the England and international with the sole purpose of using him as part of the deal to sign Jamie Gittens. Can I just say straight off the back, that is waffle. There is no reason that Chelsea have signed a player just to immediately try and sell him on. Anyone that agrees with that, I don't know what logic you're thinking about. That is a very risky way to spend £25 million and potentially give out a contract that the player might want to sit on anyway. So I don't believe that for a second. Do I think that it's still a realistic option? Yes. I think that, Sancho may potentially want to, explore more regular game time. Although he's had enough game time at Chelsea, to be fair. Maybe he just wants to go back to a league where he knows he can perform consistently, because he's not done it in the Premier League at all. Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. 35 million. Shouldn't be a priority, but if we're doing everything else and we're getting that on top, I don't really have an issue with that. Get me Osimhen. Yep, I'm with you there. Absolutely with you on that one. Osimhen is especially when we hear about what John Obi Mikel has had to say on this as well. I need to find the clip and then we can watch it together on John Obi Mikel. That guy is so red hot when it comes to Victor Osimhen. He's red. Let's share this clip with you. Let's watch it together. About John Obi Mikel talking about Victor Osimhen's and Chelsea.
He wants to play for Chelsea.
What he wants and what he would like, maybe two different things of what will happen. Where do you think he will be playing his football next season?
I hope somewhere in the Premier League. I hope it comes. I know where
you can affect it. It's not hope.
I know where we stopped in terms of the contract. I know where we are. It's an easy fix because we've done all the hard work in the last summer. It's so easy to just pick it up and say, the deal is done.
So let me ask a question again. Where do you think he will be playing his football next season?
He's a journalist. I'm interested in the answer as well. I don't know. We wait and see.
So it's not your gift then. You need a little bit of help from Chelsea if that is to happen.
Yes, definitely.
And if it doesn't, then Manchester United would very much be in the frame.
Or an Arsenal.
Or an Arsenal.
Listen, this guy does what he does best. He scores goals. And that's what we've lacked this season. When you look at our team, Chelsea, we are one of the top teams that has missed the biggest chances in the season. Yeah. We don't score enough. And that's why we are where we are today. With an Osimhen, that's what he does. He scores goals. He wins you trophies. He puts you in the top 4.
Would he, I mean, I'm talking about Manchester United. Would he need to know he's going to play European football next year? Because that could rule them out.
That means he doesn't. Yeah. I mean, if that's the case, then he doesn't go to United.
Interesting comments from Johnny B. Mikel there. I mean, the amount of time that Mikel talks about Osimhen, you think he's getting a cut of the deal if it happens. Yeah, I don't know. But I do believe that what he's saying is probably true. I do believe that, because we did do all the hard work in the summer. We were that close to getting the deal done. The only thing left to conclude was the wages, because we would have paid the money to Napoli. Like, we've never. Chelsea don't really care about the price of players if they're able to meet our contract demands, because we make demands. We ask them to take pay cuts. We ask them to go on incentivized deals. We ask them to sign long deals, all of which to protect the club. And in the case of Victor Osimhen, the only thing that he asks for is pay me what I'm worth. That's what he basically says, right? What is he worth? He's won about 250 grand a week. One of the best strikers in world football, 250 grand a week. Let's think about who is on 250 or any, like, even over 200. Like, what are Chelsea players on? So we don't want to pay Victor Osimhen, one of the best strikers in world football, 250 grand a week. You have Reece James, who is on 250 grand a week. Okay, let's have a look. Here we go. You have Wesley Fofana on 200 grand. And Nkunku, 195. Fernandez, 180. Kukurea, 175. Pedro Neto, 160. Caicedo, 150. Sancho, 150. Palmer, 130. Tosin, 120. Kowal, 100. Blah, 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 right? You're telling me that you are going to get Wesley Fofana potentially out the door, and Nkunku definitely out the door. Let's just say that's the case. You have freed up 20 million in wages per season that you can dedicate towards another player. You have 400 grand in there. This doesn't even have anything to do with players on loan like Ben Chilwell. Look, Ben Chilwell is on 200 grand a week. You've got Sterling. Well, that's bullshit. 162. What a load of nonsense. Sterling's on 325 grand a week. You are telling me we have the potential to save millions and tens of millions. Look at Chukwuemeka, another player who could potentially go. Disasi, Kepa, Chalobah, Ugochukwu, Broha. These are all players that could go. David Fofana, Renato Vega. They're definitely going to try and make profit on this guy. Fucking hell. I mean, this is just crazy. So, yeah, no doubt in my mind that Chelsea are able to... We're able to get this deal done. We are able to get this deal done if we want. You're telling me that you can free up at least, oh my God, just Nkunku and what was his name? Fofana, 20 million a year in salary. That's two players. Ben Chilwell, 200 grand. Felix, stick him on loan. We won't get a permanent deal for him because, nobody's going to pay £40 million for the guy, understandably so. Send him on loan to Benfica, give him a 2-year loan with an option to buy for, let's just say, 30 million after 2 years. I think that's our best bet of actually being able to get rid of the player. Dewsbury-Hall. Oh my God, Sterling. So easy to free up the wages. So easy. No, the owners certainly won't lose money on players. I mean, they have to accept that we won't be making a profit on Nkunku. Sometimes you have to cut your losses so that you can reinvest as well. If we want to reinvest, then we are going to have to, I think that we'd maybe get a domestic loan for Dewsbury-Hall. I think you're allowed as many domestic loans as you want, as long as they're domestic. That's why we've got Caleb Wiley at Watford. We had Slanina on loan at Barnsley at one point as well, although he is no longer on loan at Barnsley, if I'm not wrong. He got taken back early from that loan. Yeah, don't have that information off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure he got taken back from loan. There is so much money to be cashed in on players, quite frankly, who we just don't need. We stockpiled a load of fucking players. But, when we talk about Chilwell and Felix and Sterling, these are guys on high wages. Difficult to get rid of, if we're honest, considering what we paid for them. I mean, Chilwell is an injury-prone player who's on a high salary. In a position where most teams wouldn't pay £40 million for a left back. They just wouldn't do it. Felix is just an underperforming player with a big ego. Just never performs wherever he goes, to be quite frank. And Sterling's on a massive wage as well, 30 years old. So no doubt that those are difficult players to get rid of. But then you look on the flip side of that and you say, well, you're going to get 5 million for Kepa on top of his wages off. You'll make pure profit from Chalobah if you accept a deal from, let's just say, 25, 30 million, which I think we will, even though I don't necessarily agree with it. Ugochukwu was only on about 40, 50 grand a week. That's easy to flip. Broha, he's not on a high wage. Vega's on a low wage. You're definitely making profit there. Those are just players that are on loan. You look at Mark Guiu, he probably gets loaned out. Dewsbury-Hall. Mudryk, I don't know if his contract's going to get terminated, if he tests positive. There's just so many ways you can think about opening money up to spend it on the things that you really want as a team. You're telling me we can't pay someone an extra 50 grand and he's the best fucking player, if not one of the best players in his position. I'm sorry, you do not know how to pay your players when you've got Gittens and Sancho making £150,000 in this team, and you got Pedro Neto making £160,000 in this team, and Cole Palmer just extended his contract for £130,000 a week. The only player close to Palmer is Tosin, who's on 120. So we need to prioritize our wages a little bit and understand that there are some players out there that, quite frankly, do not deserve the money that they're on. And we need to prioritize spending big wages on big fucking players. This isn't rocket science, people. Anyway, let's move on to Dean Huijsen as well. We've had an update from Iraola, the Bournemouth manager, claiming transfer rumours don't affect Dean Huijsen. He's coming from big teams, even if he wasn't in the first team, but he's coming from Roma, from Juventus, from teams where these things are probably quite natural, and I see him quite normal. So according to Iraola, the manager of Bournemouth, none of the rumours are affecting Dean Huijsen. I honestly agree with him, to be fair, but hey, you never know anything for certain. Who knows? Also, when we go back on Jamie Gittens, we were just speaking as well about Gittens and Sancho potentially being part of a swap deal. And one of the articles, I can't remember who it was it 442 or something? Yeah, basically saying that Chelsea could have signed Gittens and Sancho with the intention of using him straight away to sign Jamie Gittens. Does that not just seem like strange business to you? But, we've got a little bit more where that came from via Sport Witness. Chelsea and Dortmund are in close contact about various deals this summer, with Carney Chukwuemeka's permanent transfer potentially being a part payment for Jamie Gittens. That is something that I could actually see happening, if I'm honest with you. That could potentially happen. But truth be told, like when I look at this player, I see someone that I don't necessarily. Sorry, let me backtrack. Not the player. When I look at the club, since when were Chelsea a team that wanted to do swap deals without having finances come in for a player that we get rid of? I see many deals like Ian Maatson and Omari Kellerman happening potentially, just for the sense that you at least made some money on the player. Ultimately, what Clearlake and Bowley care about is money in. So if you're doing swap deals, that's not really money in, is it? So how does that play on the books? You get the wages off the book, but then you just have another player who takes on that wage. And you'd presume Jamie Gittens is probably going to be on more money than Carney Chukwuemeka, who's on 100 grand, but I might be wrong. I've got no idea what Jamie Gittens is even on at the moment. So what's his wage? I haven't got a clue. Jamie Gittens wage. Oh, God. Are you kidding me? No wonder we're sniffing around this guy. Come on, people. £48,000. Are you kidding me? No, look, is this some sort of coincidence? I think not. How much is Jamie Gittens on? 48 grand a week. How much is Liam Delap on? 45 grand a week. How much is Jonathan David on? £38,000 a week. How much is Garnacho on? 45 grand a week. Everything is a fucking low ball. So low. And that is where you do have pull, because you're able to double, if not triple, if you really wanted to, a player's wage. In Chelsea's case, I think they'll probably just double it, 100 grand. Fucking hell, they love it, don't they? They love a low wage, Clearlake. Goodness gracious me. Could be a lot of PR as well. I'm not disagreeing. I don't really have an opinion on it. I'm just saying what I'm reading. You take whatever you want to take from it. Hi, Yusuf. Just joined the stream. Can I deeply apologise for my actions after Chelsea 1-0 Everton when shaking Eghbali's hand? I don't know what I was thinking. I had a great birthday nonetheless. I hope you're good. Well, happy birthday to you, Yusuf. I hope you had a great birthday as well. Good to see you at the game. Can I just say, guys, look, Yusuf's a young man. He's just turned 18, I think. But Yusuf, I don't know what the fuck you were thinking. The guy went up to Eghbali after Everton and asked him for a picture. Are you kidding me? And guess what Eghbali said? He said, I don't do pictures. You can shake my hand. And you still shook his hand. Fucking hell, man. Have some of that. No chance. Never shaking my hand. Say that. Fucking hell. I did shake his hand once, didn't I? When I met them in the hotel, and I got Bowley to give us a shout out. Eghbali was the one filming. Can you believe that? He was the one holding my phone. And at the time, I don't have it now, but you have some of the phones with the flips, don't you? And they flip on, you know, and you cover them up. You cover the screen. Eghbali kept putting the cover over the camera. I'm like, Begdad, what's going on here? Are you using the Google phone or something? Are you using Google Pixel? Do you not know how to use an iPhone? I thought you'd be able to afford it. Obviously, maybe you can, but he just doesn't know what to do with it. I have to admit, Todd found that quite funny. He had a bit of a laugh when I said that. I spent a bit of time speaking with the guys, but obviously, I mean, what did I know? This is still when Potter was the manager, so I can give myself that. I thought it was a flex to get a shout out from Todd Bowley for Chelsea Fan TV. I thought that was a flex. That was not a flex. And that is why when you go on the channel, you no longer see Todd Bowley's face on there, because I realized actually maybe it's not something to brag about, because our owners aren't exactly helping this football club right now. They're not the most popular. So I think that was probably the right decision to take that off. Listen, guys, we've got over 120 of you in the building. We've only got 48 likes on the stream. Guys, let's smash those likes up. Let's set a target straight off the back, because I know there's some people who don't like to smash the like button. So we will say 75 likes on the video. We're on 48. Get up to 75 likes. Easy money. Easy stuff. Listen, guys, appreciate everyone that's watching as well. If you are enjoying it, just press that thumbs up. It makes a difference. It shows me that you're enjoying the streams. I do enough of them, and I'm going to continue doing them anyway. But if at least I know you're enjoying them, then it will encourage me that little bit more. So we've got to give the sporting directors credit for the budget. What? I'm confused. I don't know what you mean, Byron. Most of our loan players have the clubs there at pay half their wage. Yeah, but even if you look at Sterling, like went to Arsenal, they're paying 100 grand of his wages. We're paying 225,000, but it's 100 grand saved. It is 100 grand saved. Even if you get a loan, get a Sterling on loan to Saudi and they take 300k off your books for the season. It's a pretty good deal if you ask me. And yeah, you'll have to take him back after that, but you just save the money as much as you can. Leeds will have Sterling and Vardy next season. I heard about Wrexham taking Jamie Vardy, to be honest with you. Pay peanuts, get monkeys. Alex ran to Igbali. Yeah, let's have it. Double standards. Well, if I was to do it these days, then yes, I think I'm all right, though. Clearly, only care about flipping young players on low wages for profit. We are cooked. Not wrong. That's why Igbali ignores me now. Challenge him to a tennis match. Fucking hell, guys. You need to link with Johnny Minerals. He speaks positive on you. Oh, I'm always happy to speak with Johnny. Johnny's always welcome to come on the channel. Truth is, though, Johnny doesn't go on other people's channels. I offered to interview him at the protest. He said no. Yeah. I am happy to go on his channel. I really don't have a problem with it. But obviously, I stream so much, and I'm pretty busy with this. So obviously, the timings have to work as well. And I work. This isn't my job. This is literally a side hustle. So I spend a lot of time on Chelsea Fan TV, and then I obviously work on top of that. But I'm always happy to speak to Johnny. Always happy to speak to Johnny. And, you know, as much as I don't agree with everything that he says, I agree with some of it. And like with anyone, he's an old school fan. And what they do is they say things, they don't always sound right or nice. Let's put it like that. They don't sound nice. But then they move on. And that's one thing I do like about old school fans, old school people in general, is they just let it out. They don't hold back. Johnny doesn't read normal subs. Fair enough. Each of their own. Listen, guys, we have 59 likes on the video. I said the target was 75. I don't know what's going on here. Smash the like button. Don't smash it so hard that you break your computer, but just click it. It helps. Okay, a couple more and then I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you very much, Tom. Appreciate the kind message. It's very kind of you, mate. Byron says we had a whole lot of players making an intense amount of money and not producing ownership. It has to be the right idea to get them out the door. That's fair enough. I don't have an issue with that. The only reason Johnny doesn't go on other people's broadcasts is he had a debate about with Lewis about Mason Mount. I listened to that whole thing. By the way, I thought Lewis won the debate, but it was thoroughly entertaining because Lewis was getting angry. It was brilliant. I remember I was with my grandma when I was listening to it, and I had my sort of AirPods on, and she was speaking to me, and I had Johnny and Lewis in my ears. Oh, what a Great debate. I don't know what's wrong with going on other people's channels. There's nothing wrong with it. You got to fit it in. Obviously, you know, when it comes to individual channels, just do it. But this is slightly different. I think Chelsea Fan TV is a slightly different animal. Takes on a little bit more time. Where is Jacob? Well, Jacob is at home doing what kids do. I don't know what Jacob's doing. We'll get him on a stream one day. No problem. I have no idea what time Jacob's bedtime is, guys. I don't know. Guys, I appreciate your time. I am going to finish a stream and watch some TV. So appreciate your time. I always try and do an hour because it's sustainable and then I don't die. But we do plenty of these streams. So I will be back at 1 p.m. tomorrow with another stream. And guess what? At 10 o'clock as well. So you're going to get a double whammy from me again and Wednesday again. So if you're waiting for anything, come here at 1 o'clock, come here at 10 o'clock. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll be releasing a video on top of that, going through some of the latest Chelsea news, as well as my predictions for the top 5 race and what I think is going to happen. All the best, guys, and we will